Welcome back to the series where I predict every NFL team's game-by-game record in 2025. We're on part 8. This is the last part. We got the NFC West, starting with the Los Angeles Rams. Went 10-7 last year, lost in the division to Philadelphia, and realistically, they could have won the Super Bowl. This team has just been constantly underrated, and they've been so good these past few years, other than the title defense. I mean, they almost beat Philly. Washington, I think they could have taken Washington, and they definitely had a chance to beat Kansas City. So they could have won the Super Bowl. Anyway, they start the year at home versus the Texans, and that's going to be a victory. And then week 2 at Tennessee, taking on the rookie Cam Ward, they win that game. They're at Philadelphia, which is going to be their first loss. They host the Colts, which is a win. They host the Niners, which is another win. They're at the Ravens, which is going to be a loss. They win in London against the Jaguars, so they're 5-2 heading into the bye. They come out of it beating the Saints. They lose to San Francisco. They host Seattle. I think they win that game. They host the Bucks, and I think they win that one too. At Carolina, yeah, that's probably a win. At Arizona, that's going to be a loss. They host the Detroit Lions, and I think they win that game. Seattle, that's going to be a loss. They're at Atlanta, which is a win, and they close it out beating the Arizona Cardinals to finish 12-5. It's actually 11-6, my bad. Now for the Seattle Seahawks, they went 10-7 just like the Rams and nearly missed the playoffs because the Rams had the strength of schedule tiebreaker officially clinched when the Washington Commanders beat the Atlanta Falcons in Week 17 because the Falcons were a team Seattle beat, and that irreversibly damaged the strength of victory for the Seattle Seahawks. I wore those glasses a little too long. So they open up the season hosting the San Francisco 49ers, and that's going to be a win. They're at the Steelers, which is another win. The Saints is also going to be a win. They lose to Arizona. Tampa Bay, that's going to be a loss. The Jaguars is a pretty easy win, followed up by a loss to Houston. So they're 3-4 heading into the bye week. They get Washington on the road. That's a loss. They host the Cardinals, and this time I think they get the win this time. They're at Los Angeles, which is going to be a win. No, at Los Angeles is a loss. At the Titans is a win. Hosting Minnesota, Sam Darnold playing his first game against his old team, that's a loss. At Atlanta, that's going to be another loss. Hosting the Colts is a win. They beat the Rams, and pretty much with the playoffs on the line. At Carolina, that's going to be a loss, and then at San Francisco is another loss. So I think Seattle goes 7-10. Not exactly going to be Darnold's fault, but this is look at the schedule. I mean, they got Arizona, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Tampa Bay, Houston, Atlanta, Minnesota. I mean, this schedule's kind of loaded, and the Commanders too. The Arizona Cardinals, they started 6-4. I actually have a Cardinals hat. Let me go get that. This is my second favorite team. I hope for their success. They started 6-4 last year, and I thought I had an NFC backup. I thought I had an NFC backup for when the Bengals were going to miss the playoffs. No, I did not. I also thought I had one of those in the Lions when the playoffs started, and we all know that. So they open up the season at New Orleans, which is a win. At hosting the Panthers, that's going to be a loss. At San Francisco, that's another loss. They host the Seahawks, which is a win. Lose to the Titans, beat Indianapolis, and then get the stunning upset over Green Bay. And speaking of against Green Bay, they played in Week 6 last year. I went 13-1 predicting last week. That was the only game I got wrong. So they're 4-3 heading into the bye week. Sorry about my drama dump. At Dallas is a loss. At Seattle is a loss. Hosting the Niners, that's a win. Hosting the Jaguars is a win. They beat Tampa Bay. Then they take out the Rams. This team is actually going through like a tank. At Houston is a loss. Hosting Atlanta is a win. At the Bengals, that's going to be a loss. And then at the Rams is a loss. So still one more win than last year, but I think that might just be enough to make the playoffs at 9-8. Thank you all for watching this year's game by game 2025 NFL predictions. I will see you all next time. Okay, a couple hours later, after realizing I forgot the 49ers, and this was before the editing process, because I'm a few brain cells short, I'm back and ready for San Francisco. At Seattle, that's a loss. They do beat the Saints and Cardinals. They beat Jacksonville. They're at the Rams, and that's going to be a loss. At Tampa Bay, they win that game because they own the Bucks. And then the Falcons, I think they take that game. I think they take that game against the Atlanta Falcons. Upon further review, it is a random flag against the opponent. Automatic first down. No. Falcons went. The Falcons beat the Niners in Week 7. So they're at Houston. That's back-to-back losses. And then the Giants, who are just going to be criminally bad this year. They host the Rams. I think they get that one. At Arizona is a loss. The Panthers is another loss, but they beat Cleveland, so they're 7-6 heading into the bye. But this Panthers game on Monday Night Football in late November is going to be nice. So they host the Titans and lose that game. At Indianapolis is a win. They lose to the Bears, and then they beat the Seattle Seahawks in the final week of the season. So they finished the year at 10-7. Thank you all for watching this series in 2025. Actually, this time. Thank you all so much, and I will see you guys next time.